Hello folks, and welcome back to the plot at the end of a scorching day. It's the end of the day, Tuesday, and I've got one job today. If I can actually come up to the allotment and just do one job, it will feel like a miracle. The main job is in there, cucumber harvest. This is kind of really like a part 2 to my last video, because during that video where I had an incredible, just phenomenal cabbage harvest, I saw the cucumbers. Look, you can see one there. There's a fatty right there. I physically couldn't take them home. I left the plot the other day with 2 carrier bags and a rucksack full of vegetables, and it's such a good problem to have. But it was quite an amusing sight, I'm sure, seeing someone walking down the cycle path with cabbages overflowing out of their bag. Did get a few looks like, oh, who's this medieval peasant, you know, like, who's this weirdo? But yeah, what a day. We're having this just lovely weather at the moment. How are your gardens doing? You know, are you coping with the heat okay? We've just had an amazing barbecue. Loads of homegrown produce, so just fantastic. I was meant to come up and get all these cucumbers and a few bits for it first, but it was just too hot. But let's have a look at these cucumbers. It's crazy. It's really funny, every time I go in here, there's just tomatoes draping down into the doorway. So you got to kind of try not to knock them off the plant, you know? Like literally tomatoes either side of my head, like a tomato crown or something. But yeah, I was just going to say, like, I'm just so happy with how this year has gone. The harvests have really kicked into gear kind of this last month, and I mean, it's the first year with a second plot, but that second plot hasn't been that productive. But second plot, second greenhouse, and it kind of makes sense, you know, but just it sounds really stupid, but just obviously we've grown so much more food and had more harvest than ever before. And that's kind of one thing to be happy about. But the other thing is, like, I just feel like we're making much better use of them. I'm sort of, you know, after years of doing this, a lot more kind of forward planning about how to use them all and preserve them. And it's just been a really good year, you know. There's been a few setbacks, there's always setbacks with the garden, but it's just so good. And this success story in particular is just amazing because of the spider mite infestation that I had in here. I did a video all about that I'll link if you've not seen it, but it was really bad. I basically cut pretty much 90% of the leaves off these cucumbers. There's only 2 plants in here, and if you don't know, this is quite characteristic spider mite damage. So they're still on those cucumbers, they're still in there. You get this kind of faded mottling of the cells where the spider mites on the underside are burrowing in, and I can see a few little webs on here. It is very hard to see, but just in this little leaf kind of dip there, you might be able to see the webbing. That's definitely spider mites. And all I did was a really drastic cutback, a little bit of spray with SB Invigorator. Everyone was a bit like, oh, I don't know if that's gonna work, but it just seemed to make sense to me, kind of give them a second chance, and oh boy, just look at them now. These are the Honey Plus cucumber, they're kind of super sweet. And you can see actually quite a few of these I've unfortunately let go too far. When they start to get that fat, they're still good eating. It's just mainly the seeds become a little bit bigger, a little bit more unpalatable, but these are really nice. They're best peeled, definitely a bit of a peeler, but just so good. It's just so hard to show you how many cucumbers there are in here. The tomatoes as well, still kind of chugging along quite nice. I've been really fortunate, touch wood, still to not get blight, so there's definitely a tomato harvest. Let me get these cucumbers. You'll see, it's going to be another, just like the cabbage, you know, a big bulk harvest, which isn't ideal. It's better to do little and often, but these things happen and they make great pickles. So let's see how, oh my goodness, wait a minute. I've just seen down there, this is like my forsaken nursery, and I think, you can't see it because of the netting, I think there's an aubergine in there. I thought both of those plants were dead, but I might get an aubergine today as well. What a little treat. Now I'll tell you what, we're a really long way away from becoming anything close to self-sufficient with fruit and veg, but now I've got a full-size plot, I could see you making a much bigger dent in your kind of yearly eating. I've only had a half-size plot up till now, but with this full size and the polytunnel and the second greenhouse, you can make an awful lot of food. It's really dawning on me. It's all starting to come together after years. This is like 3rd or 4th season of growing, and yeah, you can get some really impressive harvests from allotments. So this season has felt like a lot of food, a lot of produce, but with that polytunnel and getting the kind of fertility sorted over winter on that second plot, I've got a good feeling about next year, you know, and this has been a good year already. Let's get these cucumbers. I'm still taking off any of the worst affected leaves. It's pretty late in the season now, so it's just to get a little bit more airflow in here, a little bit more sun on the plants, and just knock back those spider mites one little bit. The real concern with these is if they're going to come back next year or not. They're really good at overwintering. So I think now that I know the signs, I'll be a lot more on it next year. You can get kind of smoke bombs and fumigation and stuff like that, but this year's felt pretty manageable, to be honest. So at the moment, I don't feel like it's necessary to go whole hog with the chemicals. I might be feeling different next year if it proves difficult, but you know, we'll see, won't we? There are still so many little baby cucumbers on here just starting as well. It's remarkable. One of the things about cucumbers I find is that they just explode, you know? They can go from a tiny little cucumber to a fully fledged thing in like maybe a week, and it's just so easy to miss them. You know, one day you come up and they're looking okay, and then you come up 2 or 3 days later and then boom, they're gone, they're already done. And this is the first time I've ever done cucumbers under cover as well. I normally do a couple outside, and they normally give me like 5 or 6 cucumbers, and I only grow kind of 3 or 4. So this is scaling up, and this is just 2 plants. This is preposterous. I've harvested a lot. The difficulty now is actually getting into these plants to try and, because you've got to support the cucumber. You can't just chop it and let it drop, because you know, you don't want to bruise it. And oh goodness me, these are so densely packed. I'm looking forward to doing this in the polytunnel properly next year, where I can get some going kind of, you go up vertical and then you go horizontal along a string. And if you keep on top of the side shoots and that kind of thing, it's all a bit more manageable. These just went crazy. Where I cut them back so hard, I thought, oh, I'll just let them do their own thing. They've got side shoots galore, but they're still cropping, so I don't really mind. It's just quite entertaining, to be honest. I was trying to get these all in a shot. No. Oh no. Oh no. There are literally more cucumbers than I can hold right here. I lost count. I think we're up to about 12 or 13, and there's quite a few more on the plant. Just incredible. Oh dear me. And some of the ones left on, oh no, need his teeth. Bless me. Tomato pollen. Yeah, one of the weird things is the ones that are left on the plants, they're a weird funky shape, and I'm not sure if this is just what they do. Oh, there's one behind. I don't know. Look, there's one back there. That one's ripe. Need to get that. I'm not sure if this is just the stage that they go through. They get a bit of a weird fat end, and then they fatten out along the thing, or if this is like uneven watering or something like that. I'm not too sure. But wow. Wow, wow, wow. I quite fancy the idea of coming up tomorrow and just doing a little dedicated tomato harvest, another tomato, because we've got loads. We've been going great guns in the back garden as well, so the fridge is stocked. I don't need to get in and harvest these right this second, so maybe we'll do that on video tomorrow. But just look at these cucumbers. I thought there were 14, and I think I've miscounted, or I've dropped some, being a stupid YouTuber trying to get the shot. And look, we've got a casualty. I dropped it, trying to get that shot of me holding them all. Just dropped it. But I'm not going to waste it. But this is just, that's incredible. And there's still so many more on the plants. There's still more life in those. There's still more to come. They are definitely a bit kind of thick-skinned. Let me know if you've grown these Honey Plus this year. A great cropper once you get the pests off them, but they're so good. They are so sweet, so fresh, perfect for a day like today. But yeah, the skin is definitely, especially as they get on a little bit tough, so one to peel, but just amazing. Thank you ever so much for joining me, and an extra special thank you to my Chili Pepper Tier patrons: Tony, Bill, Pam, Louise, Mel, Michael, Denise, Socks in the Garden, and Andrew. I managed to do it, just one job in the video, didn't get carried away with anything else. Hopefully you're enjoying the sun and your gardens, and I'll see you in the next one.